Welcome back to the FallenGiantz podcast, back with another video, and we should be live on YouTube, so hopefully we'll get some people tuning in. And we're basically doing a FallenGiantz preview in the sense of Arsenal and Manchester United for the weekend. We've given you the review. If you haven't checked that out, please go find it on the channel. How you doing, Nick?
Decent, mate. Decent. Things are going okay at the minute, mate. Down at Old Trafford. Not gonna lie, things are going swimmingly.
Yeah,
It's good. It's all good.
Starting to see a bit of progress, quicker than probably we would have thought.
Listen, I'm well. Yeah, we're well beyond expectations at the moment. I'm going to keep my feet on the ground, but I'm going to show a bit more. I'll be a bit more confident, considering I was borderline suicidal at the start of the season. So, yeah, it's all good. What about you? Bit of a wobble.
Yeah, Arsenal are starting to show a few cracks. I won't go out there and say, this is what I'm talking about and that yet, because it's not. We're still in a good position in both the Europa League and the Premier League, and well, we're gonna go into it. But I do feel that we've got probably the best opposition to play when
how about Ruben Nistelrooy breaking Arsenal's unbeaten record again?
Yeah,
as a manager.
We're filming this off the back of
Europa League nights.
Obviously Europa League, and it was a shocker from Arsenal. I mean, the only good thing is it pretty much didn't matter, because as long as we don't lose to Zurich, I think we still get top spot.
Yeah, you'll get top spot. You're at home to Zurich, aren't you? On the last game, you'll be fine. But it's just a little, as we always like to, I like to address a little insight into the future potentially.
Yeah. And the nature of the loss didn't look that good, if you get what
I mean. No, that wasn't good.
And we have still played a fair few of our first teamers, so
yeah. All right, wicked. So
we start with Arsenal.
Well, I'm guessing you kick off before us, yeah?
Yeah, Arsenal the 2:00 kickoff.
All right, you host Nottingham Forest, yeah?
Yeah, and that's what I mean in the sense of I think I said this in my sort of prediction on where Forest were going in the season. Yeah. Obviously, they look probably even way worse than what I was trying to allude to. But, they came off the back of beating Liverpool, which was a surprise to a lot of people. I just feel that all of their points could come at their own ground, and I will be in real disarray and disgust if we don't win this game. I think, in my opinion, this is probably one of the easiest home games for us to have when the cracks are starting to show.
It couldn't come at It couldn't come at a better time. Because if you were going away to Chelsea like you are the week after, you'd be like, oh shit, as well. Like, just where we've hit bad form. But this can be a little 3 points to get you over the line and get you looking good going into the World Cup.
Yeah, hopefully score a few goals and just like get a little bit of confidence, a little bit of, when we've spoke recently, I think more off camera probably, but about the energy levels of Arsenal, and are we starting to look a little bit tired once we get over the sort of fast-paced first half? Can we continue it into the second half? I'm not saying we're potentially going to score loads, but if we did beat them something like 2-3, 4-0, that sort of gives your energy a boost as well. Like, the confidence is back in what you're doing. So
I think it's a good point you brought up. I think Arsenal are a bit shot for goals at the minute, to be honest. They're not free. They're not really scoring a whole heap of goals, are they? I think, when was the last time you scored about 3? Was it the Spurs game, potentially?
Yeah, I think it is.
It's all been ones, hasn't it? It's been a lot of 1s and 2s, maybe, for Arsenal.
No, it has. I'm just looking at it here. Yeah, Liverpool 3. So then we went 1-0 Bodo Glimt, 1-0 Leeds, 1-0 PSV, 1-1 and lost 2-0.
The goals have dried up. The goals have dried up, and I think and that coincides with you saying they're a little bit jaded in terms of. Well, to be honest, I want to bring that up as well, because there's been a lot of comparisons of Darwin Nunez and Gabriel Jesus on Twitter now. I don't know. Listen, I know who's the better player. I know who I'd rather, but it's interesting to see how quickly narratives can change and people can bring things up, because apparently Nunez has got more goals than him in 400 less minutes.
Yeah, there's always going to be a stat that's going to help, these narratives.
It's just interesting. I just
I
find it
just think,
fun.
to be honest, I think I'm a bit coy on Nunes in the sense that I don't think he's some unbelievable player or anything, but I do think he's better than what he's getting criticised
He's
for at
got
the
a lot
moment.
of. Do you remember when that training video came out?
Yeah, all that
He's
sort of
getting a
stuff.
lot of slack. I think he's like the target this season, isn't he? He's the
Yeah,
target for people to. It's
I
the money,
do.
isn't it?
I do think there's a lot more going on to Liverpool, and obviously that's for another video. But
I've got an interesting question though, as we're just quickly to round off the Nunez Jesus. Who do you think ends the season with more goals? Genuinely,
the thing is, I value Jesus so much in what
more
he
than
brings to the attack
yeah,
more than the numbers.
which I
But at the
yeah,
same time, if Arsenal were to finish, let's just say top 3,
yeah.
not we may look to hopefully challenge City, but whatever. You'd expect the number 9 to be getting numbers. So
there will be a time where you're going to put a bit of pressure on him if he continues to not like as good as he is at everything around goal scoring. You'd still expect him to hit a certain amount of numbers in
yeah,
terms of
you're
goals
still looking at somewhere around 15. You'd have to
in the
really,
league. Yeah,
yeah, in the
yeah,
league,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I
For
think that's right. You should be expecting that. Like, it's a good comparison almost to like Bobby Firmino when he was at Liverpool. He wasn't the out and out goal scorer, but he was still chipping in with a solid amount of goals and assists throughout the season.
Yeah, he still had enough, and then everyone just valued on what he brought to the attack. But he still had enough
It's
numbers to
interesting
see
because
him by.
we've got a clip that's going to go out eventually of about Arsenal's front three and Liverpool's past front three. And
Yeah,
if that's going to be the case with Jesus, then you're kind of expecting Martinelli and Saka to really boost their numbers up this season
yeah,
and
yeah.
really
Well,
to hit the levels of what we're expecting from Arsenal anyway.
that's one thing that Firmino had, right? So
Yeah.
he was valued so much for the importance of being in the middle and
Yeah.
dropping in areas and that. But the other two were getting not just numbers, ridiculous numbers. So yeah, I mean, it's a hard question because I do think Nunes will sort of recover his season and be a bit better than what people are saying.
I think I'm
But
going to go.
I'd still think the way that the trajectory of Arsenal's season, I feel like Jesus might. Well, he's already on a run of like sort of not really scoring goals, and then I
About
feel like there
5,
might
6
be a
years.
game where he gets 3 or 4, for
True.
example.
I'm going to go out on a limb and probably say I think Nunez will end up with more goals in all comps this season over
Yeah,
Jesus. So, only because I'm just thinking about the way Liverpool play, and they're going to no doubt. We keep saying this, but they'll get goals. Liverpool get a lot of goals in certain games as well. So
yeah.
that's my outlook on it. But anyway, yeah. So back to what the Forest, the trip for Forest Dukes. Any threats from them you're worried about? I know it's.
I mean, as we see, because they beat Liverpool, it's like anything can happen. But I mean, 2 weeks ago, we're talking about Arsenal title challenging or winning or potentially going all the way. And that's still, I'm not saying that they should be out. They're still predictions. But if we can't beat Nottingham Forest at home,
I think I'm just looking at
City put, I don't know what the score was, but I feel like
it was
City,
6. I think that's right. Yeah.
if City's stumbling, see a few cracks like Arsenal have, and then they get Forest at home, it's an annihilation, in my opinion.
I'm just looking at a few little shout outs with players like Dean Henderson's had a good season, I'd say, in goal for them.
Yeah.
So if he has a good game, you never know. It could be one of them games where you think, oh shit, it's not our day at the office, for example. So he has to have a good game. Obviously, and then you're looking at Jesse Lingard's underwhelmed, isn't he? He's underwhelmed since he's joined. But obviously, I made the title JLingz back in Chancellor, but
he'd probably come back against Arsenal. Yeah,
no, I know. It's typical because not even his United days, but even when he was at West Ham, he was still banging goals against Arsenal when he went on that brief loan. So it is one of them weird little things in football that can happen. But he needs to up his. He's their main guy, isn't he? He's the big name in their team. So
the thing is, if you look for players on a team, and obviously they do this midweek, right?
Yeah.
Or I'd hope they do it. The likes of Cook and Aurier, like Jesus has got to isolate Cook, for example. Martinelli's got to be going at Aurier. There's a lot of players. The interesting thing for me is when I looked at, because I didn't actually catch the Forest Liverpool game. I obviously watched the highlights, but
Yeah.
I was quite surprised at how many chances Forest did actually get.
So it's good that on the counter attack, they really did get a whole host of chances as well. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, I think it's going to be a harder test for them away at the Emirates against the Arsenal team that's better than Liverpool at the moment. But there is always a threat. Like, what's his name? How do you pronounce his name, Chaz? Owani, yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
Awani, Awanihi. And he obviously got his goal against Liverpool. I didn't realise he played for them when he was way younger.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was at the Liverpool Academy. But he had just someone like him and his presence can be a threat, as a target man. He will cause issues, and we've seen with Gabriel sometimes have a few clangers this season. I don't want to discount them completely. There's a threat. They still have some threat. Morgan Gibbs-White is almost their other star man as their number 10 now as well. He's looked okay. He looks like a tidy player as well.
And we have seen it with Arsenal. All right, there's a few games where we went and got the goal, the Villas and the Fulhams. But if we have dried up slightly and we don't put this to bed early or get on top early, you never know. The counter attack could be a threat. Let's get
spot on about the Fulham and Villa comparisons. They were both arguably at the time, well, maybe not Fulham, but more so Villa, were easy teams to play. But you still made hard work of it in a weird way. Even though you dominated the games, you had to come back and get the winner late on in them games. So it's one of them that you haven't seen Arsenal, bar maybe the Bournemouth away game, as an example, really. Or the Brentford game, Bournemouth and the Brentford game, you haven't really seen them take teams away. There's always a chance for opposition teams.
No, I agree. But I mean, ultimately, what the fans would want to see is, I don't know. Are we doing predictions on this of scores?
Yeah, we will. We'll do that right when we finish this.
At the end of the day, you'll be seeing a whole different video if we don't win this, by the way. I will be on here after the game, I'll tell you that.
If Arsenal don't win this, then I look like, because I've put a lot of investment stock into Arsenal this season in terms of I think they're a good team and they'll do well. If you don't win this, even I'm going to have to revise a little bit about it. No, but as in they've flattered to deceive for me then, if that's the case, because I expect them to do okay. Any just about individual players before we wrap the
Well, I was going to say sort of the lineup. I was thinking, I know with Arsenal it's relatively, but I do want to see
few changes.
I don't want to see Tomiyasu at left back.
Do you think you're just sacrificing an attacking player? Basically, you're just
I understand it in certain scenarios, but I feel like I don't really understand why.
I reckon.
I mean, Zinchenko is questionable. Like, he might be coming back, but we're not going to throw him in.
Even if it's not him, put Tierney in now.
I mean,
he wasn't that great, was he?
They both played yesterday, didn't they? Both of them.
Yeah, they did. They did both play. Yeah.
So,
but Chaz, is there any individuals that you're expecting more from recent games? Anyone that's let you down slightly recently, even if they've had a good start relatively to the season? It's hard because you can tell they're obviously jaded, but I guess, I
suppose it's both wingers. Like, as much as you can argue Saka's been good in that game, or
I think Martinelli was poor yesterday. I think he was in terms of, we kind of see this from him. Like, he got in good position. He's always a busy body, isn't he? He's always that kind of busy. But his end product really needs to improve for both of them, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, both they need to be more critical.
Well, obviously that video is going to come out. I hope that comes out where we discuss it or clip. But what we were alluding to is for Arsenal to be the next Liverpool or compete at the top, like they have to go to new levels, both of them. And I know that's asking a lot because they are young talents that have already sort of taken to a new level, but they have to be provided. Like, this is what the thing is: we're always going to be on top, and that's why I'm happy to play Tierney, because we're going to have a lot of possession and hope to go forward and get chances. But if no one can provide the goals, we've got Jesus lacking goals. If the wingers are jaded and they're struggling to find the net, recently we've relied on the likes of Xhaka popping up with goals. I do worry a little bit in the sense of the longer the game goes.
It can happen, man. The crowd will get on you. The crowd will get on top of you. They're expecting you 2-0 up after 45 minutes, maybe. We'll see. Like, I just think, I think you brought it up, and everyone knows it. The drop off from your first 11 to your squad is obviously there to be seen. Let's be honest, Nketiah's really. I saw him yesterday. He's not scoring against some subpar teams now at the minute as well. And even Lokonga looks a bit like a rabbit in headlights at the minute, sometimes in that number 6, because that number 6 role is so important for Arsenal, and Partey keeps it ticking a lot of the time. I think you need a bigger personality in that number 6 role. I mean, obviously, El Neni probably would be in front of him, but Lokonga looks a little bit out of sorts as well. Like, I think he's a good little player, and he's technically okay. It's just not right now. Not right now as a backup to Partey. That shouldn't be.
I think with Lokonga, they're still not 100% sure if he's a 6 or an 8.
Yeah, we don't know yet. It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into predictions for this one then?
Well, I'll be.
We'll start, Chaz. We're going to start a little. Now we're starting the predictions, getting the ball rolling on that. We got to do some sort of forfeit at the end of the season. We'll keep tabs of our predictions just for these two teams,
because these are going to be consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. And the reason I'm saying 2-0 is I think we might actually find the goal quite early. So I think we might go 1-0 up and then just sort of keep the ball ticking and find the second in the second half. Whereas obviously there's other narratives where I've said the longer the game goes and stuff like that. But I do think we might take the early goal.
I'm going to go 4-0 Arsenal. I'm going this one. No, because I feel like you're going to get the early goal. And
confident as ever.
I can even see the likes of Nketiah coming on and actually getting a goal for some reason in this one. So I just see even your subs chipping in. Like, I feel like you're going to have it wrapped up, and then they're going to come out and you're going to pick them apart.
I hope, to be honest. That's, I want to.
It's the only.
Like I said, there's potential for it to be a freebie.
Ollie's just put in the chat 2-0 Arsenal. He's copied you.
Okay.
I love to see that Ollie can't jump on these though as well. He has to put a little comment in as well, like a little keyboard warrior.
But, yeah, it could be a freebie, 3 points. So,
All right, wicked. Let's move up north then.
Onto the other. You must be positive about this one.
I mean, just to quickly skim over last night, just got the job done. Exactly how you're supposed to treat these teams like Sheriff. Like, don't get me wrong, they caused a bit of, they made a name for themselves last year in the Champions League and that, but they completely changed their team around. They had 0 shots on goal. That's all you need. That's all you need to know. They didn't have a shot on goal, which just shows we dominate. We just need to dominate them games. Like, it sounds so small time the way I'm talking, but we sometimes made a bit hard work of these games under previous regimes as well. Just treat them as who they are, get the job done, and that's it. Move on. So we've kind of, like I spoke about Arsenal early on the season, we've kept the momentum going from this one. So that's all we needed to do. It was good. It was just an easy performance, really. There was no stand up. I mean, I guess Garnacho kind of stole the show yesterday because it was his full debut. It was his first ever competitive start. He was good. Like, he's very energetic. Really Martinelli-like. I'm not going to lie.
It was. I'm
not going to lie. I looked at him and I was thinking, that's Martinelli. That's very similar to Martinelli.
It did look like that. Yeah, it did look like that.
Because they're very direct in it. They're very direct, just going inside out. It causes problems and issues. But with both of them, I don't think they're both technically the greatest players. I don't think they have that kind of flair, but they're functional. I think if he gets more game time, he can be an asset for us off the bench this season. You see the way I view Rashford, maybe to stretch teams, and he's got a lot of pace on him.
Yeah.
He's still very, when you can see a player's raw, he's very raw still as well. Like, he's got a lot to brush up on. His touch weren't the greatest. his decision making wasn't the greatest as well.
Yeah,
But
he could be good coming on against some tired legs. You know?
yeah, that's what you'd use him for. And I'm glad that, do you know, when you stumble across these options that you didn't know you kind of had throughout the rest of the season, he could definitely be, like, you're looking at him and Elanga. It's not like you maybe opt for Garnacho over Elanga. Like, we don't, like, it's not much between them, to be honest. Yeah. So, yeah, he kind of stole the show yesterday. He was bloody in awe of Ronaldo, like, because that's his idol. So he was kind of just like privileged to play with Ronaldo really yesterday. So yeah, we host West Ham. I always get a bit worried when I play West Ham. For some reason, they're just that team that I don't think you can just win easily against. It will never be a comfortable afternoon, or whenever we play, morning, night. It will never be a comfortable game against West Ham. I don't know if you agree with me.
I do think they're very.
They're not the greatest to watch, are they?
They're very like. It can come across boring. They're very organised. They're very structured in their sort of defending. I do think if it was away to them, it would be a harder game. I just feel
we do have a bit of a shoddy record at their ground. Like, I'll give you insight. Last year, we beat them 1-0 in the very. Do you remember the Rashford goal in the very last minute against them? Remember he had the blonde hair. He had the blonde hair at the time. He literally remember when Martial came on just before he went on loan to Sevilla, and it was like we threw the kitchen sink and Rashford tapped it in the back post.
Yep.
So I really do think that West Ham are going. We know how they're going to set up. They're going to be solid. They'll probably allow us to have a lot of the ball, to be honest. And this is where I'm more confident in United. In years gone by, a team giving us the ball, I'd get worried because I'd be like, we're not going to break them down, or we're just going to stroll. But in recent times, we've been creating chances from teams like Newcastle, like Spurs, when they're sitting back. So I'm confident, as long as he picks the right lineup and the right personnel, I'm confident to get the win. But I'm not saying it's going to be a comfortable win. It's West Ham and David Moyes. I put it in the title of this video, that David Moyes has never, ever won away at a Big Six team in his whole career.
Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy to think, because he's played. How do you know the numbers of games he's managed or not?
It's something like 15 games each team or something like that away from home. That's a lot of games. That's nearly like 75 games or so.
Yeah.
That he can't seem to get the 3 points at a Big Six away ground, which is just one of them hoodoos. Yeah. But hoodoos are there to be broken, as well. And I know that we do these streaming these days, and this is going to get clipped up, and we'll be the first team to give him that. But I just worry about the physicality of West Ham. That's the only thing that worries me. Scamacca, then they got Antonio on the bench if they need him. Souček, Rice. It's quite a physical team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't think Paqueta's available.
No, he's injured.
I do worry, Chaz, but I feel like I have to be confident at the minute as well. I can't just be worried every game as well. I'll give the prediction in a sec before we wrap it up. But what's your opinions on this game in general, just United versus West Ham?
I was actually going to say that I think the positivity and everything is going to continue for United, but in my head, I'm starting to think that it might be a draw. I'm looking at it thinking, if they can keep it relatively solid at the back,
and we get frustrated.
The likes of Rashford lashing at chances and that. I'm assuming Martial's not back. Is Martial back?
No, Martial won't be. That's just assume he's not back for this. Yeah.
Okay.
Bruno kind of getting frustrated and
doing God knows what with his passes. I mean,
this is what I said.
I know you. The thing is, I do like the way now you've got Casemiro in a holding position, and you allow more attackers to go forward.
He's been so good. He's been so good in the last 4 or 5 games. Like, he's looking like up there with the best defensive midfielder in the world kind of player again. And my word, like, it's important. This is what I said, Chaz. It's about the personnel we play in this game. So I'll get into that. I feel like we need to bring Sancho back in. It'll be controversial to a lot of people because he's not been good for the last month or so, and he didn't even get a minute against Sheriff, which kind of makes me believe he might play in this game.
Yeah, no, I was going to
He
say
didn't get a minute against. Neither did Fred. Both of them didn't get a minute. I'm thinking, no way would this fixture pile up and congestion. He would not bring them on at all if he didn't have a plan in mind.
Yeah.
So I think we have to start Sancho. We need to build his confidence up. People have given up on him, so we need to. I feel like against low blocks, he is still the guy to have that bit of stardust and unlock a defense that sit deep. I really do believe that. So I'd go with the two creators on the wings, Anthony and Sancho, because we're going to need a lot of creativity to try and break this team down. I worry that Rashford will get isolated against big centre halves in Zuma, whoever it is, Zuma, Dawson, Kerr, whoever it is.
I think Dawson's injured, but
yeah. So, they put the Moroccan lad just come back in it the other last night. He made a debut for them. I don't know if he'll play or not though. That's why I'm just adamant about the personnel, Chaz. We kind of know the back. Well, actually, I say that. I want the back three. We know Shaw and Dalot been brilliant on each full back position. We know Martinez will play. I'm just debating whether we should play Maguire or Lindelof. What are you saying about that?
Yeah, I can understand it because Skamaka is very physical.
Lindelof is fitter and more match fit. Maguire just come back yesterday for 45 minutes. He came on at half time. So I don't know whether is it worth throwing him in the deep end.
No, I think I'd stick with Lindelof and just hope you can deal with the physicality. I know it's worrying to think that Lindelof and Martinez, still lack that sort of
just
height and
physicality in
it.
Yeah.
I'm saying all this, but the way I'm sort of thinking the game, I think the game might end up quite dull. This game.
Unfortunately, Chaz, I'll always have a worry about set pieces with United.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to lean. I'm starting to lean towards a sort of 1-1 where they get a set piece and yours is a dog. I mean,
God, looking at me right now, you wouldn't assume that we're on a good little run and all that. I look worried. I look genuinely worried. It's just because I'm real enough to know, Chaz, that it's still a process. This is as well. Like, there's going to be bumps on the way. There will be bumps along the way. That's the thing. So I can't expect us to be flawless every single game. Chaz, and I said to my dad yesterday watching the game, especially with the squad depth we have here, there's a lot. You do realize there's a lot of games coming up before the World Cup. I think there's a League Cup game to play.
There is. Yeah, next week. Yeah.
We've got to do Premier League, finish the Europa League off, Premier League, League Cup, Premier League before we don't have the squad for that. We don't have the squad for that. We're gonna get that. Like, there's no way it's gonna be plain sailing. We're gonna get vintage performances.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it feels like a dull game could be coming along the way. You're completely right to feel like that. As much as everything's positive, you're looking good in that. Unfortunately, I don't think you're just now a winning machine and you're going to beat every single team you come up against.
Because we need better players and we need more time. So there's just as simple as that. So I'm gonna go. I'll get my prediction done first since it's my team. Yeah. I'm gonna go 1-0 United. I'm just gonna do what we done last season. I feel we just get over the line in this one.
Okay, I'm gonna go 1-1.
Okay.
And I think it could be a dull. I mean, even a 1-0 is fairly dull game from you. So,
but don't get me wrong, I'll take it. Going into the World Cup, we just need to get results at the minute.
Of course, yeah. You want 3 points at this game. You don't want setbacks.
You know the thing before we wrap up, the thing that changed in my mind a tad because of the Newcastle game. I don't think they're as good personnel wise, but they've got a better manager. I thought to myself, they're a big threat, Newcastle. We've seen it this season. They're better than West Ham. They were a lot better than West Ham at the minute. We were okay. I know it was 0-0. We were actually decent in the second half. And I'm just hoping that we can replicate that, but actually get a goal. Yeah, that's it as well. But yeah, that's my prediction.
I mean, I sound like I'm saying it, and it's probably the same for a lot of games, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, if you predicted a United win this season, I was going to say, I don't even know if you... Well, we haven't done a lot of predictions, but I definitely know you predicted us to draw Newcastle, which you were right in anyway.
Yeah. I suppose also it sort of has the same element of what I'm trying to say at Forest. The longer the game goes, if West Ham are solid, you are getting frustrated. That's where I feel that United still have a lot to learn in terms of, well, Rashford in terms of finishing, lashing at chances, Bruno and Eriksen at times, both doing the same sort of passes.
It's just, it's all it needs to do, Ten Hag needs to do is build. He needs to, so far so good. Mentality needs to be, we need to play exactly that. We need to be aggressive. We can't drop off, Chaz. We can't drop off in that aggression side of it. So
I do like the way that you've it looks like it really means something though. Now.
Oh mate, like the attitude of players in it, the difference is mental. It is at the minute. Like Dalot, Shaw, everyone's on board at the minute. So I just want us to. Do you know what I want us to do? Just absolutely. I want us to act like we're going to wipe the floor. I want us to disrespect West Ham. Like, I really want us to go into them and treat them like we're going to bash them 3-0. Like, I really would love, that would shock me. Just absolutely bamboozle them at the start and try and get the win early.
Yeah, yeah.
That's hopeful.
Just give them no sort of respect. Like, you're in our home. This is our,
I'm glad. One thing I'm glad about, Paquette is not fit. I'm glad about that one because that's their element of creativity that they can.
I do feel it'd be interesting to see how they play it. But if Paquette was in that hole where Scamacca can hopefully hold the ball for them and then release the likes of Paquette, Bowen, and that, I mean, it'd probably be Ben Rama, right? And maybe Fornals, is he around?
Is Bowen injured or not?
No, I think Bowen's in. Okay. It says on at the moment it says Cornet, Dawson, and Paquette are all questionable.
Do you know what? Casemiro against Declan Rice would be a really good battle in midfield. I feel like that's going to be a massive, massive one. I feel like Luke Shaw can deal with Bowen. I feel like he can deal with him for pace and power as well. So it's more so, that midfield battle is going to be mad.
I suppose the likes of for me it is I think the biggest danger is set pieces for them.
Do you know what's so funny? I told you this last stream. One number 9. If we had one target man, I would be speaking so differently about United right now. If we had Ivan Toney in this team, as I keep banging on Mitrovic, mate, I'd be saying 2-0 comfortably or something like that, or 3-1 or something. I wouldn't be worried. I just worry about that bloody that beanhead up front, Rashford as well. If he's got a good header yesterday, to be fair to him as well. But it's just, listen, I've watched a lot of United down the years, so.
Hope he doesn't turn up thinking he's Neymar. That's
Listen, let the guy. He's been okay this season. I just want him to keep his feet on the ground. That's all I want from him. He's been okay.
Well, that's pretty much the 2 games covered in terms of preview. It will be interesting to watch. Both games, we both probably, I know I've said the draw, but we both feel that the likes of United and the likes of Arsenal should be getting 3 points in these games. Like, they should be. These shouldn't be messed up. Both comfortable home games and both on Sunday evening or afternoon. So it'll be interesting.
I'm glad that they can't ruin my weekend early. It's right at the back end of the weekend as well.
Yeah, but sometimes it gets worse because if some of the other teams mess up, like Arsenal last week, you watch everyone else drop points and then we do it.
Yeah. I just think to myself, Chaz, why do we put ourselves through this? Like, actually, football, like most of the time, football is just stress rather than enjoyment. Let's be honest, it is. Until you're winning something, it's all just stress, really, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's
stress. And then we have to come on here and make excuses for what they've done.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, we'll see you on Monday anyway for the review of both the games.
So, like we said already, I know we're sort of repeating ourselves. The previews and reviews are back. They will be done in this format on YouTube Live and uploaded to the channel, so please check them out. A video yesterday from Nick and Malison went out on Twitch, sort of discussing the trouble at Tottenham or chaos, I think the word was used.
Yeah, we'll clip it up for YouTube.
Yeah. We'll get some clips out. Like we said, we've got an Arsenal one coming. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell from when we next upload. Peace. Chill, lad.